Hi, my name is Elizabeth and welcome to my channel. It is my birthday this weekend and I am doing a birthday slash housewarming party for a couple of close friends because not many people have visited me here. I moved into this house in March. It's now obviously the end of June. A couple of people have seen pictures and things like that, but it's a good opportunity to get my nearest and dearest down for a nice little lunch. The weather's looking good, and this evening, which is Thursday evening, I am prepping a few bits and pieces. It's not the best time to be prepping things because it is the hottest day of the year so far. I live in the south of England and today it reached 37 degrees. So it is hot, very, very hot. I mean, it is 8:30 in the evening, but it is still absolutely sweltering. So I need to prep my sourdough starter, which is not going to be good, for some focaccia and just a normal loaf of bread that I'll be making. And I need to make a summer pudding as well, because that's usually better after a day or so. So if I prep it tonight, it'll have all day to soak in its lovely juices tomorrow, and it'll be ready for lunchtime on Saturday. And Saturday morning, I've just got a few nice salads to prep, and that should be okay to go. Like I said, it's only a handful of friends. I'm not feeding masses, but I do need to prep a few things today. So I'm going to do my sourdough starter first, and then I'm going to move on to the summer pudding. Those of you who have watched previous videos as well will see that I'm in my newly decorated kitchen as well. Please ignore the hideous, hideous curtains. They will be replaced eventually. But for the moment, they are keeping the heat out because the conservatory is behind those curtains, which is making everything a lot hotter. But you can see my lovely blue cabinets and my new work surfaces that I did last weekend. So, sourdough. I have my little starter that I've got out of the fridge. I am not particularly scientific or accurate with any of my sourdough stuff, so I'm gonna wing it. It also needs to change jars because this is looking quite gross now, but I'm gonna keep this little hat. I'm gonna dig out the bigger jar and prep my sourdough. Here is my normal sourdough jar that I use because it actually has a thermometer on it already, which is quite helpful. Usually in the colder months, this is probably gonna get hot really quickly. So I don't really know if now is the best time to do this, but I'm gonna do it. If it goes wrong tomorrow, I've still got time to rectify it or go out and buy some focaccia is the other option. But this is now saying it's 27 degrees in my kitchen. We'll see how this is gonna go. Now, I use wholemeal bread flour when I'm feeding my starter, but then I tend to bake with white bread flour. It seems to work, but I just find my starter reacts better to whole grain. So I'm going to give the original starter a good mix. It's looking very runny and not particularly happy, but it's just so warm. So this was being kept in the fridge, but I brought it up to room temperature to feed it and to do this bit. Some people at this point discard half of it. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not accurate or scientific with my measurements. I just go with it. I think sourdough is actually really forgiving. Now, I need enough for a focaccia and a normal loaf of bread, and I have a friend who would like some of the starter to take home for herself. So I'm going to do a whole cup of flour and then just under a cup of water. And the reason I'm doing this under is because my current starter that sat in the jar is already pretty running, and I don't like my starters being too watery. I find it seems to work better when it is thicker. And then just under a cupful of water. I'm going to use warm water. I'm sure the water straight from the tap is going to be warm because it is so hot in here. Yeah, my water's pretty warm. I haven't poured all of that in. Because I just want to check the consistency first. and it's easier to add more than it is to remove it. Give this a really good mix through, and it's kind of like the consistency of toothpaste. I think would be a good description. Make sure that is well mixed, and then I'm just going to push it down all sides, clean it up a bit. I definitely think this is going to rise far too quickly, so I'm going to put it in the coldest room in the house, which is currently the living room. Right, so I'm going to pop this little hat on, and then I'm going to take this elastic band off of that one. Pop it on here, and then I just move the elastic band up to where the sourdough currently sits, and that way you can easily measure how much it's grown. So I'm going to wait for that to double in size, and then I can make the dough. So because it's so hot in here, it's going to rise really quickly. So I'm going to put it in the living room. Next, I'm doing the summer pudding, and for that I need 750 grams of mixed summer fruit. I'm using frozen, and 185 grams of custard sugar. So I've got my fruit here, which is frozen. I have just popped this in the conservatory to start defrosting a little bit, but it's going to go in a pan to be heated anyway, so frozen is absolutely fine. So I'm going to pour all of this into the saucepan along with 185 grams of caster sugar. Now that both of those are in the saucepan, I'm going to let that simmer and heat up and become a lovely sugary, fruity mush. Whilst that is bubbling away, I'm going to prep the bread for it as well, and the bowl. Now, I haven't actually got a proper bowl that's the right size, but I do have a Christmas pudding bowl that I'm going to use instead. Here is the bowl that I'm going to use. I'm first going to line it with some cling film before I add the bread into it. This is what it's starting to look like. All the juices are starting to come out, and it's slowly heating. It will eventually come up to like a simmering point, and then I can switch it off and start using it. In the meantime, I'm going to cut off the crusts of these and prep that bowl. I have lined this with cling film just so that when it comes to turning it out, it's going to be a lot easier. It won't get stuck in here. Some people don't line it. I just don't have faith in my abilities to not make that stick. This juice is now pretty much there, which means I can start soaking the bread. I've done a round one that I'm going to dip in there face down and then pop in here face down. And the reason it's round is because it covers the bottom, and then the rest are in triangles, which I'm also going to soak one side in there and then place around here to line that. This is what it looks like so far. I've plugged in any little holes as well, so now I'm just going to pour this mixture into the bowl and then pop a layer of bread on top. This is what it's looking like at the moment. It does look like a bit of a mess. I'm going to pop a plate on top, push it down, and then I'm going to pop a weight on there, or a can of something to keep the weight down, and hopefully it'll soak up all the juices. And then once it's cool, I'm going to pop it in the fridge, and I'm basically going to leave it for the next day. And this is what it turned out like. It's the next day, and it is just as hot today as it was yesterday. Feelings wise anyway. Apparently it's only 31 today, but where the house is heated up so much, it doesn't really feel much difference. So my starter has grown quicker than I expected, which means I need to crack on with the loaves of bread. I'm going to proof them in the fridge, I think, and do a slower proof, because it's just going to overproof in this heat. So I'm doing a focaccia, which I've done before. I've already put my starter in there, which is 75 grams. This is a stickier dough for this recipe, so there is more water. So this is 375 grams of water. give that a mix. And then 500 grams of bread flour. And again, I'm just using plain white. And give that a mix. Oh no, wait, I forgot the salt. 9 grams of salt. Which again is going to have to be a estimate. And then mix that all together. And that is that dough. You see it's a little bit stickier there. Again, also going to cover that for half an hour and then do the next step. Okay, half an hour later, it's looking like that. So it has grown a little bit. I'm just going to wet my hand so it doesn't get too sticky and just work the dough in a little bit. And then this one's going straight into the fridge after that one work through. Okay, good morning. I am about to start prepping salads and getting the dough out of the fridge, ready to put in the oven and all that good stuff. So I'm going to start cracking on with things because I've got people arriving at about 1 p.m. today. So lots and lots to prep. Here is the focaccia dough. I've taken it out of the fridge, popped it in an oiled pan, flipped it over so it's got oil on both sides and left it for an hour. Now I'm going to chop up some olives and some red tomatoes, and I'm going to try and hunt down some rosemary in the garden to put on top, and then it'll go in the oven. There it is, and now I'm going to pop it in a hot oven at 220 degrees for about 40 minutes. It's just come out the oven. It's looking pretty good. Just wait for that to cool completely, and then I can slice it up and plate it up. The first salad that I'm prepping this morning is a potato salad with tomatoes, black olives and some feta, and then I'm going to make a salad dressing as well, which I'll put on last minute. So I'm just going to mix all of that together in a bowl. Here it is so far, so I'm just going to bung that in the fridge, and then I'm going to make the salad dressing a little bit later and pop that on top when it's ready to serve. I'm now on to the other salads that I'm going to start prepping. So I'm going to roast these chickpeas. These have just been lightly coated in paprika and a bit of sea salt. So I'm going to bung those in the oven to crisp up. And I need to slice up and grill some courgette as well for the third salad. This is the first salad that I'm just putting together. So I've got Greek yogurt on the bottom with then drained butter beans, the cooked courgette, and I'm just going to pop on some pesto, a little bit of salt and pepper, and some lemon juice. And that one will be ready to go into the conservatory. And now the third salad, I'm going to finally chop up some cucumber, some spinach, pop out the seeds from this. These always take me forever. I'm sure there's a quicker way of doing it. And then I'm going to chop up and cook off some halloumi, and then add that to the chickpeas that I baked earlier. Suddenly everyone turned up while I was still making the last salads, but here is everything plated up. It's now the early evening, and after the lunch party, I had friends leave at about 5:30, 6ish, and which is why I didn't get much footage of the finished food because everyone arrived all of a sudden. So but it was a good party, everyone ate lots of food. However, my summer pudding wasn't touched because I forgot about it. A friend did bring brownies, which I had asked them to do. And I forgot about the summer pudding, so I've got a whole summer pudding in the fridge for just me. Because there's no way my daughter's going to eat it. So I'm thinking I might take it to my parents' house tomorrow for my actual birthday, which is tomorrow. So it's been another very hot, sticky day. My hair's given up, but yeah, it was very nice, and my friends obviously know me very, very well because I've got some beautiful, beautiful gifts, 2 of which being pink roses. So I have this really gorgeous one in a pot, which I think I'm going to put in my bedroom. I don't really have any windowsills or anything downstairs, so I'm going to put this very, very pretty one in my bedroom either on the windowsill or on my bedside table, I think. And then the other pink rose is this one, which is another David Austin rose. This one is the Penelope lively one, which is really nice. I just need to find a place to put it, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to pop it into a pot, like a nice big terracotta pot, or plant it directly into my borders, because I don't really know what I'm doing with the borders just yet. I don't know whether it's worth putting them in there, or maybe putting them in a pot as a placeholder. But it is a very, very pretty rose, and I'm going to very much enjoy having that in the garden. And then another gift a friend got me is a really fun gift, and I cannot wait to get started on this, which is some napkins with everything I need to do for these really cute embroidery bits on them, which I just think is really, really fun. So I'm going to have a go at doing those over the next few months in the evenings, and then I will show you my finished products afterwards. But I think these are going to be really, really good fun. All in all, it's been a really, really lovely day. The food went down well, which is always great because it always takes longer to make than you expect it to, but everyone really enjoyed it. And I now have an ungodly amount of washing up to do, so I'm going to get on with that. But welcome to 37.